Good morning, everyone. Today we are examining Jeremiah 39. And as we talked about yesterday with the message of chapter 39, we're dealing with the fall of Jerusalem and the things that take place in Jeremiah's account pertaining to the fall of Jerusalem. And so, from this perspective, the lessons that I'm going to bring out today are not necessarily going to be so much on an application basis, though there will be a little bit of that, but more on the historical basis of the things that take place in this particular chapter. I want to begin in verses 1 and 2, where you have the siege of Jerusalem. Jeremiah is going to tell us that it's going to begin in the 9th year of King Zedekiah, in the 10th month, and that it's going to end in the 11th year and the 4th month, which tells us that the siege for Jerusalem is going to last some 18 months. So for 18 months, the children of Israel that are in Jerusalem will not be able to move about freely. They will not be able to come and go. Supplies are going to be shut off to them, and it is going to be a very difficult and a very dangerous time. If you'll recall, there is mention by Ebed-Melech in a few chapters earlier when he comes before the king that, the bread has run out. And certainly those kinds of things would become issues if the siege is ongoing at that particular time. And so we are at a point where Jerusalem is going to fall after 18 months of besiegement by the Chaldean armies. And it's finally going to be the case that Babylon is going to break through, but Zedekiah is going to flee. Zedekiah is going to leave. Now, if you'll recall earlier on in the book, God is going to use Jeremiah to tell Zedekiah that Zedekiah himself will not be killed, that his life will be spared. But that doesn't mean that he is going to go in unscathed. Instead, when he is caught after he flees, verses 6 and 7 say the king of Babylon is going to kill the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and also kill all the nobles of Judah, and he's also going to put out Zedekiah's eyes. So Zedekiah will go into captivity blind, and he's going to bind him with bronze fetters and carry him off to Babylon as a conquered king. And so Zedekiah is going to live, but he is not going to live peacefully. There is going to be a great deal that is going to happen when Jerusalem falls to not just Zedekiah, but to his friends and family as well. There are going to be many others that are going to suffer, and Zedekiah is going to have to watch it firsthand because of the choices that he has made, even though he himself is not going to die. It goes back to the point that oftentimes has been made that sometimes death is not the worst thing that can happen to somebody. Sometimes it is all of the other things that you see happen or that you experience happening around you that happen to everyone else, but do not happen to you. And so that's exactly what we see happening with Zedekiah. The third thing I want to point out from chapter 39 is what happens to the poor people. The people that the Babylonians see as having no value necessarily and no power in Judah. The captain of the guard will leave in the land of Judah in verse 10 the poor people who had nothing, and he tries to seal their allegiance. He tries to seal their approval, because he gives them vineyards and fields at the same time. The means of the Assyrians was, we're going to take everybody out of the land and then bring new people in, or almost everybody out of the land. The Babylonians had a bit of a different take. What they would do is they would take all of the rich people out of the land. They would take the kings and the nobles and the soldiers and all of those who were young and were notable to possibly be a problem later as far as uprisings and rebellions are concerned. And instead, they would leave the poorest of the people and they would give them status. They would give them fields. They would give them vineyards. They would give them the means of now they are at the top of the heap, but they're at the top of the heap because of Babylon, not because of anything that they have done or anything that they've deserved. And so that is the approach that the captain of the guard takes to the people of Judah. Is he's going to remove all of the problems that are going to be there, and then he is going to promote all of those that he can easily control. And that's what you find taking place amongst the people of Judah. The last thing that I want to notice, in more of an application standard, but also from a historical standard, is what takes place with Ebed-Melech at the end of chapter 39. As you recall, Ebed-Melech is a eunuch in the king's court, and much of the king's court has been destroyed. Either they have been killed, or they have been carried off into captivity, or they have been otherwise dealt with. But Ebed-Melech is going to be spared. And God, through Jeremiah, tells Ebed-Melech, "But I will deliver you in that day," verse 17, "and you shall not be given into the hand of the men of whom you are afraid. For I will surely deliver you, and you shall not fall by the sword, but your life shall be a prize to you, because you have put your trust in me." Ebed-Melech was one who believed Jeremiah, and Ebed-Melech was one of the good guys, if you want to call them that, in the land of Judah and in the city of Jerusalem. He was one who sought to do the will of the Lord, and he turned to him. And God is going to take care of him through this entire process. He will not allow harm to come to Ebed-Melech, because Ebed-Melech saved Jeremiah's life. And so that is going to be his repayment from the Lord. So there's a lot of interesting things to be seen here in chapter 39, a lot of things that can be pulled out, especially historically, but also there are some applications to be made to various facets of life today. So I hope these things have been interesting to you. I hope they've been of value. And next time we will come back and begin with chapter 40. But until then, have a great day.